Grayson and Abigail were the sorcerer guardians of Hollow Hills, but when Abigail fell ill, Grayson could find no cure for his love. All hope was lost, then the creature came. Lurking in the shadows, he plagued Grayson's dreams and filled them with the darkest thoughts. In his nightmares, he whispered to him of an unholy book, inside of which he could find the answers he sought to save his beloved. Grayson found the book in the cemetery of Hollow Hills where the creature led him. But the more he read, the more his soul blackened, and he renounced his vows of righteousness. He sold her soul to bring her back and join him in their new lives. Together, and under the enchantment of the book, they raised the fallen enemies of their homeland. So it came to be for the former guardians to become the curse of Hollow Hills.
Okay, hi everyone. Oh my gosh, talk about heart attack tech issues. I went to go and do my usual, hey, getting the stream started, and no chat on the other link. So sorry about that. I don't know if something's going on with YouTube or what's been happening, but this morning when I went to check on things, there was like some weird old stuff from previous live streams that somehow worked itself into the information for the original link. So I had to do a new one, and then the new one, the chat wasn't working. But anyways, welcome. Thank you so much. This is a very special live stream. We have Crippled Foundry in the chat today while I show you some amazing minis from their Kickstarter, The Curse of Hollow Hills. I tried to get all these fun videos that they sent to me along with a lore video in the beginning, so you can see some details of these minis that they have going. The Kickstarter itself, you have 10 more days to go to get in on this. So after you've watched this, if you're intrigued, do be sure to get on over there. There is a link in the chat to the Kickstarter. I will reload that for you. You can also see it down here. Well, here we go. Right there on the bottom. Right where my hands are, you can see that's also the link if you want to go and check that out. And, oh, I forgot to put a little music on. I got some fun, creepy music as well. I mean, you know, zombies and creepiness. You have to have some music going for that. Also, it's one of those things where if you have questions, they are right there. They are more than happy to answer these questions you might have. So what I thought would be fun to do is first, if you don't know, Crippled God, Foundry, and I, we've had a long time working relationship together. So they've appeared in some of my other videos. They've been part of some video tutorials. They have also done the roll call. Not roll call, drum roll, that's what I want. They're the ones responsible for this lovely little mini V. So they created her for me, total surprise. So you've actually seen their mini creations a lot in my videos because I try and use her as much as possible. So she is a Crippled God Foundry design. And I also have gotten some other really great minis from them. I did a mini base painting video, and this is one of their bases that they had sent to me that I painted out, which I'm still waiting for the perfect mini for these guys. But this just starts showing you the quality of their work and why I'm always so gaga over their minis when they send them to me, because for me it's like Christmas whenever I get a package from Crippled God Foundry. I gotta tell you, this is an active chat today. So hello to everyone. I'm seeing some new names which are absolutely wonderful to see in there. I'm seeing some of my usuals too. So hello to everyone. I'm not gonna be able to go through and tick off everyone's name like I normally do just because of the number of people in here, but I am so glad everyone is getting here and finding the link. I am so sorry about the odd tech issues, but the chat's important today. When the chat's not showing up, we have a little issue. Okay, so you saw in the preview some of the pictures going through of these miniatures. Now, the cool thing is that they have sent me some of these miniatures so you can see these up close and personal. The one thing I do want to start off showing you is that when you receive your minis, there will be some assembly required. So these are the minis that I left unassembled, so you can kind of see what it looks like. And this guy is the, let me see if I got this one right, the skeleton, is this the skeleton knight, I believe? Yeah. So when you get them, they're going to come in various pieces depending on the miniature itself. Some of them fewer pieces, others a little bit more detailed. The reason they do this a lot is so that you can get things to attach and fit nicely, and it also helps with the detail work that they put into these things. So taking a look at this guy, I mean, hello, just look at this armor in and of itself. And I'm the one who always goes crazy over fabric. So, I mean, look at the cape. And they've got the little bits here that are showing the cape decaying and wonderful bits like that. And then, obviously, since I haven't glued them together yet, here's one arm with the sword detail. I mean, look at, you've got horns. And the horns have these lovely little ridges to them, which are hard to see because I haven't done the whole detail work that I normally do. But yeah, the Death Knight. This is the Death Knight. Thank you for popping that in there in the chat. But yeah, you can see, look at this. It's just detail is everywhere. So that's one arm. Here's the other arm to the same mini. Look at that shoulder. I am giddy. I am absolutely giddy over these. Do I use a Dremel to alter these? I have a hand drill if I need to do pinning for assembly. And then sometimes, you know, it might be an issue of I'll file the feet and stuff to make it so that they adhere better to bases. But that's one thing I do want to touch base upon is that when Crippled God Foundry sends you things, the quality is ridiculous. Very rarely, if ever, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever had to really worry too much about removing mold lines or anything like that. They really take what they create seriously. Hand poured. They do vacuum chambers, so everything pulls out of the resin, so the bubbles go away. The quality is just, it's quite frankly par none to most of the minis that I will get, which is why I always love working with these guys, because for me, it's just getting wonderful sculpts. So this is the Death Knight, and yes, I will, I just saw Purple Bishop asking, I will do a quick little wash and then let it dry thoroughly before gluing the pieces together. But in terms of, like I said before, like removing mold lines or spurs or stuff like that, nope. No, it's quite frankly, I've had it where it's just I've washed the mini, assembled the mini, and painted the mini, because that's really the no fuss, no muss of it. So that's the Death Knight. And then the other one I have here is another fun little creepy. And guys, if you can holler what this one is in the chat, because I had it written down somewhere, but in my chat revival, lost that paper. Yes, it's definitely kept at a minimum. So here you can see, look at these wings. I mean, this is just, the detail's amazing. And you have, it's like, oh God. Even down to, if you look at the skull, there's still flesh on the skull dangling off. I mean, this is just, guys, it's amazing. So this is another one that where you come through, a lot of times they have sort of this socket and joint with their assembly, and that's why I saved this one. Winged Terror, thank you very much, guys. So they have the socket and joint thing with their pieces, so hold on. Let's get the right part to the right side. So you can see here's the socket, which is when I'm putting them together. I will put a little bit of the super glue in there. Give it like a couple seconds, I always do, just to let it kind of get some air. And then stick the joint in. And once it takes, it'll hold. Obviously, didn't do the glue right now, so if I let it go, it's going to fall apart. But these are just some of the minis that I left unassembled, so you can see what those look like. Now let me show you the ones that they sent to me that are assembled and wonderful. Some of these have bases that they have sent to me ahead of time in the past that I have been keeping for a rainy day, and when I saw these minis, I knew that they had found their base friends. So if the bases are something you've really locked onto, make sure you go to Crippled God Foundry's website, which is just www.crippledgodfoundry.com, and you can check out all of their various bases, because the bases are amazing as well. So the first one I'm going to show you is the Nosferatu, and he is one that I've actually already assembled and prepped for painting because, you know, he might be coming with me across the pond. But this is the Nosferatu, basically with black primer and a light gray dry brush layer that I like to do with my minis. But again, you can see this insane detail. I mean, just the positioning of the hand and everything is amazing. Let's see here. I'm just quickly looking into the... Hey, Jan! That's awesome! I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed, my friend. The base is the one that they sent with him. So it's just basically a simple round disc. No big deal, because I actually have some ideas of what I'm going to do for his base anyways. And then The best glue for the resin, that's a good question, Zakile. I have used for these guys, I've used Gorilla Glue, and I've also used Loctite. I like the Loctite best, but don't get the gel variety. I have found the Loctite gel in general doesn't seem to have as tight of a bond as I would like, but Loctite, just traditional super glue style stuff, that's the one I like the best with these guys, at least in the US. I can't speak for other countries and what's available there, but something to keep in mind. Okay, so this is another one of their minis, and look at this cape. Look at the pretties. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go nuts here. And the fur detail around it. Hello, and look at this. Look at. This is one of the bases they had sent me ahead of time, and I used this on purpose to pair up with the sort of mini base that's going with the weapon. But you have this fellow where oh my gosh, guys, I'm in love. And the funny thing is people who know me, I don't do zombies. I don't like zombie things very much, but these have such cool detail on them. I'm actually able to look back beyond the creepiness of it. So here's this fellow. And again, if you guys want to chime in what their names are, I would appreciate that, because you have so many. I'm actually like blending the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They sent me so many and I love it. So there's this guy, which I'm just obsessed with because of the little mini base factor. You know, it's just, that was such a cool detail. I've never seen a mini that has this little feature. So that to me, I thought was beyond cool. You guys are so chatty today and I love it. Let's see. So we showed the Nosferatu. Ooh, the ever-living sorceress. This, I think, was the first one I saw, guys, that you were sharing on social media, and I went, ooh, okay. The Skeleton King. All right, so the previous one was the Skeleton King, and then the ever-living sorceress. She's like my precious. I cannot wait to paint her. I really can't. A couple other people have painted her already, and I've seen some really cool effects done with, especially the cape. But this is what I love about their sculpts. They have these clever little details. Look at, they're using her cape, basically, and her robes to make it look like she's lifted up off the ground. It's just, she's got this amazing floating thing, and the details in the folds of the fabric and the movement. She looks like she's hovering. It's wonderful. So this is another mini they sent me that I'm in love with, and I should probably hurry this up so we can actually get to the feature fellow. And then here we have another guy, which, even though he's like sort of like one of the lesser characters, for lack of a better term, I mean, there's still all this wonderful little touches that they put in there. I mean, look at that. The rotting fabric, but then you get that little touch of the chainmail underneath. And hello. And this is, again, one of their bases that I had on hand that I popped him onto. So you have that. This is one of the heroes. Oh, and I love him. I love this hero. Look at his hat, and he's got the crossbow and the torch and the quilting on his jerkin. Oh, I'm telling you, I could wax poetic about these guys for quite a while because of how much I love the little details they have going on. I mean, even the little pouches. I'm hoping that's being picked up. These little pouches that they have, and look at this, the sword and its sheath, and then you have the arrows tucked in back here. It's just, they're epically detailed more often than not. Epic is the word I would go to. And again, this is another one of their bases that you can actually purchase right now. I want to make sure I'm clear when the bases are not the ones part of the Kickstarter, that you know which will be which. Will you be using the new... Okay, so Grimlock's asking me, will I be using the new Game Workshop Oh, God. You know what's funny? I have yet to get these contrast paints. So if someone wants to send them to me, I will happily do that, but I haven't purchased them yet. So today I'm just using my usual stuff. So yeah, this is another one. I just went Gonzo 4. And who else do we have? We have this Barbarian. Again, same base as before. Again, you can purchase off their website. Look at him. Look at him. He got the muscles. And the cool thing was he came with the option of having an axe instead of the shield. But the shield, I had to. The shield was just too perfect. So that's another one. And then here's another skeleton. This is the skeleton. Is this the Skeleton Knight? You can see that, and that is a little piece of stray plastic from something. But look at, he's even got these great little bits of detail in the fabric. Again, we have the chainmail that's sort of falling apart. He's got it up over his head as a hood. They really, I cannot say this enough. I love their work. I love their sculpts. Everything they've created, I've always just sort of sat and gasped when seeing things. Oh gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Hello to everyone. Seriously, if you're jumping in and I haven't said hello to you, please don't take it personally. I'm trying to show everything off and the chat zipping by faster, but I love seeing all these questions and responses and reactions. I am seeing them. It's just, then this guy was another one. I was just like, oh look, the pose is so dynamic, which this was one I'm like, okay, I might have to encourage someone to make a PC redemption, or an NPC soon might come into my work. And the shield. Huh? The shield. I love it. The mace, the shield, it's just, nah. Look, and there's a hood on the cape, and the hair. This is what I also wanted to show off. Look at the hair. I love how their minis' hair, the one thing Crippled God really does well is they make sure that they have the details nice and sharp. So it's very hard to lose these details when you go through painting them. I actually used one of their dwarves as a miniature for a how to paint class for beginners at Mace last year, and it worked out beautifully because of how wonderful those sculpts are. So that's another guy, and then I think this is the last one I have to show off, the Necromancer. Look at this, look at that. I mean, the skeletal just on the fabric, and they're wonderful. They're beautiful miniatures. They truly are beautiful. They're well made. It's going to be well worth your investment if you decide to back this Kickstarter. And again, because I have such a great working relationship with them, I absolutely wanted to do this for them and show off the stuff. And you know, when they asked if I would work with them for a sponsored something or other, I said absolutely. So I thought a stream would be a really good way of doing this. So, but even though it's being sponsored, all of this is just genuine reaction. You can go back to old videos and see it. All right, so who's ready for a couple other bigger ones? Now, don't laugh. I got this one, which is the worm. We'll talk about this in a second. So this guy came as well. I got him assembled last night. He's actually pretty big, as you can see. Let me get, here she is. So here's the Muse Mini, so you can get a sense of scale. I mean, obviously it's pretty much taking up most of the screen right now, but they're a decent size as well. And he does have a head. It does come with a head. However, while I was waiting for these pieces to dry, and I went to take something upstairs, a little kitten decided that the top part of the skull looked like a fun toy, and she must have jumped up and taken the part of the skull that I need and ran off with it. I kid you not. So the mini is not yet complete. I do have the bottom jaw. I'm keeping it in its baggie so it seems bigger. So this is the bottom jaw. It's the top that I have to find because the kitten decided she was going to slay this undead worm. And, you know, maybe she's leveled up. We'll see. But that was another one that they sent to me that I was putting together, and I loved the detail on. So that's one of the bigger monsters. But today, our showcase fellow is, ta-da! The Death Watcher, who is, ladies and gentlemen and folks out there, this one, I already had an idea I was going to be painting him. But when I did the base, you will have to prime them. It's not like some of the other miniatures out there. You will have to prime them. So I've primed them in the Vallejo Black primer. Then I went back in with Vallejo's Game Colour line, Khaki, and I did a base layer dry brush. And, just look at these details. I mean, you have the teeth details, you have the eyes going on. Yeah, it is funny and sad at the same time, Purple Bishop. Oh my gosh, my heart broke because I'm like, 5 minutes. I stepped away for 5 minutes and I can't finish this one. So we'll see. But luckily he was already assembled and ready to go. So the one I was planning on I can still do, because that would have sucked. But it's just, I mean, look at the eye stalks, the details that are on here. And again, it's that lovely combination of skull underneath with the decaying flesh. And I'm not one to like zombie things either. Like, I just get skeevied with them. But this one, I'm like, this is a work of art, guys. It's beautiful. You've done a fantastic job with all of these minis. I can't wait to see how this Kickstarter does, because of, I mean, this is the first round of their sculpts, and I'm just, I'm in love. I'm in love with undead creatures, which is not something I thought I'd ever be saying. All right, so we're going to get started on this guy. My plan for him is, because, you know, undead, he's definitely going to have more of this sort of greenish skin tone. The eyes I'm actually going to make it look like so it's almost blind, so like milky white type of effect. And then the inside of the mouth I will also address, because you can see there's even detail on the inside. That I'm going to treat more with like deeper reds and purples in there. So let's get started. First, I'm going to address the eyes as well as the teeth, because for that I'm going to work into using bone white. And for all of this, I am doing Vallejo's Game Colour line, simply because that I know is accessible for everyone. So if this is something where people want to use it as a tutorial, they can get the paints that I'm talking about, which is why I'm sticking with Vallejo entirely for today, except for the effect I'm going to put on the eyeball, but that you can substitute in with other metallic paints in your area to get a similar effect, or omit it and just do a gloss. I'll explain that later on down the line. Can you eat them? I don't recommend eating them, no. All right, so starting with, as I said before, I'm going to do bone white, and that's going to go onto the eyeballs, it's going to go onto the teeth, and it's going to go onto the back horn area. I might do a little bit there, because there are those wonderful horns in the back. And like I do with this setup, for those of you who are new to my channel and haven't seen me paint minis in this method, I'm going to thin ever so slightly the paint itself, because I'm kind of making this more as a glaze as opposed to a full coverage here, because the khaki itself has helped bring out details. I'm letting the lights and the darks play, and I want the paints to let that show through a little bit underneath for the undertone effect. So I'm going to be mixing a flow improver in with the bone white before putting it onto the eyes and the teeth and some of those horns. Gustavo, what kind of brush do you use? Whatever I happen to grab, quite frankly. I don't get into brush snob mode. I kind of am more of the, it's the brush I need and want and use. I'm also very hard on brushes. It's how I've always been. I'm lucky if I can keep a set for more than 6 months. Just because I'm very much in there. But I just grabbed my Plaid. So this is the one I'm going to use for the eye. Plaid sends me some brushes. And I actually like their Mod Podge brush line. Surprisingly, they were fantastic. That is a line that I definitely go back to and grab often. You'll see me use them. They're the ones that are the hot pink handles and the bright orange handles at times. And this is another Plaid product as well. And yeah, I see we have a lot of viewers today, which is wonderful. Hello, hello, hello. So I'm going to get started first with the big eye. And I'm just going to get this bone white in. And again, I'm not looking for this to be a very thick coverage. I want the undertones that I've established to come through. So you can see you still get the shadowing that's happening underneath there, and that's what I want to have happen. Let me turn him upside down. But these are definitely, these are minis that when you get them painted up and on a table, they definitely make an impact too, because of all the great details. And this is just Crippled Foundry minis in general, not just the Kickstarters. They're impressive. And you can tell there's a lot of thought and work that goes into their sculpts ahead of time because of all the details they have going on there. Okay, so this gives us the base of this large milky white eye that I want to have going on. And you still get the shade colors going on beneath, which is what I wanted to have happen. Which is why, again, I use this flow improver. And that's Vallejo's flow improver that I've just added as well. So I'm going to be doing the same with the little eyes. Going through. And in my mind's eye, no pun intended, the effect I'm hoping to have with these once I'm done is kind of give them this glowing effect with the paints I'm going to put into as an effect paint. There's the word I want. But the cool thing with these eye stalks is you can tell some of them are a little bit more decayed than others. They're actually stumps where a stalk once was, which I found so cool right here. You have a couple that have just, actually a few that have just like sort of broken off and, you know, because it's falling apart. It's just the details are, I will keep talking about the details. Absolutely. But yeah, let's see. Like I said before, but for those of you just joining us, this Kickstarter is good for another 10 days. The link is right down here. Yoink, right there. If you want to go and check that out. And I also have the link in the description as well. So you can jump into the description and go through there. See, I'm not going to do the veins in the eyes of Achille because of the fact this is supposed to look like a blind eye, and those tend to be more milky and opaque, and I don't want to have it steer into a bloodshot eye effect. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I always get creeped out by zombie eyes, because you'll see like people having like those whitish toned eyes that just give me the heebie-jeebies, and of course I'm now painting it, so hey. Fun times! This is the one thing with beholders. You always have to keep rotating to make sure you've gotten all the eyes. And just let me know if the music gets too loud, I can adjust. And remember, the guys from Crippled Foundry are in the chat if you have any questions about their minis or the Kickstarter. This is the time to ask because you'll get a live response. Okay, so I got that one, that one, that one. Yeah, I have these two left. You know, the fact that these guys pour these minis by hand, do that vacuum chamber, it's just, it does make a difference. It really does. All I had to do with this guy is literally put the jaw on with glue. Make sure you had a quick little wash and then painted them up. So it's actually quite nice to be able to just jump right in and start painting right away. Funny thing is I still have yet to get around to doing the Guildmaster minis because I've been so busy getting other things ready. Alright, so you can see the eyes are getting like this really creepy look going. So we'll call that done for the eyes, and I'll do the teeth. Yeah, you can see they're saying if you have any questions, go right ahead. They really are great about answering questions too. I highly encourage you if any questions whatsoever. It is shipping worldwide. I know that's always a big question ahead of time. They will ship worldwide. And again, I'm still sticking with the bone white. He's got a toothy grin. Good evening. It is evening for some of you. Hopefully you're having a good evening. I would have to say with all of the... God, even with... Because you've had how many unlocked? You had, I think you said 16? 16 stretch goals unlocked. It's great to see more and more things coming to light in terms of the minis that are going to be part of this. It's just unreal. And I love the heroes. Those are such a dynamic group. That's a good question, Jan. How fragile are the minis? The minis I have found are actually nice and hold up well. I mean, like any mini, I wouldn't... Don't throw them. But I have yet to have like major problems with them. Look at that. And a toothy grin. Yeah. I didn't know she was going to play with them. If you have a cat who decides to be Buffy, let's put it that way. We shall say that should you have a mischievous little kitten, be careful when assembling. Don't leave it unattended, not even for a minute. I'm still flabbergasted that happened. I'm sure it's going to show up. It's just she's literally taken a bag of dice, like in a velvet little pouch, and run off with them on us. So she's definitely into gaming. But then she'll go and she hides it, and it takes us a couple days to find her most recent place of hiding. And that takes care of the outside of the teeth. And I'm going to go in. This is where the angle's going to be a little awkward. How am I going to do this so I can get it on the camera? You know what? I'm probably not going to be able to do this too well so you can see it on camera. It's going to stick the brush in and get the back of the teeth. Yep, there's really not a good angle, so I can actually still paint it and you can still see it. So I'm just going to get this part quickly addressed. For the top and bottom jaw. As you can see, there's the back of the teeth done. Unfortunately, this is one of those angles where it just gets hidden away. And then I'm going to take the bone white and go to a couple of these protrusions on the back next, and then we're going to address the main portion of the body with the next color. And I always, after the stream is done, I go back in and I type in the colors I've used for the mini. So if you've come in later and you've missed the first few colors and you want to go back and watch, you will find all of the colors listed in the description after everything's done. Okay, there you go. Now you can see the back of the teeth too. That was just a really awkward paint angle. Kitty should have watched Uncle Adam's video about not being a hobby hoarder. Oh, the kitties. She's a sweetheart. She's just a lot of kitten left in her. Is the biggest issue. So yes, I'm just going to take the bone white as well. For these sticky outy bone protrusions. Again, the name of the game is I'm not looking to have this be super thick and dark. You want this to be thin and light. Yes, it's a Death Watcher. It's an excellent Death Watcher. Excellent sculpt. He's got a lot of little touches here. I know this is one the Mister's probably going to want to put to use. He likes beholders. Don't we all? And this is one that looks similar to a beholder, but it is not a beholder. It is a Death Watcher. That it is. I mean, look at this. You've got this. I'm gonna address that too. It's like these boils on the skin, on the flesh area. It's just, it's so cool. It's just those little extra details that knock it out of the park, for sure. And you will find when you have like bony protrusions like this, you get one side, you get another side, and you realize as you're moving it around, like, oh wait, there's another little bit, there's another little bit. That's totally normal. But yeah, we're going to see if we can get him finished up. We're only at 12:35 my time, so I'm thinking in the next hour we'll have this guy pretty much done outside of needing some washes. And I don't think he's going to need too many at that. If anything, I'll probably just end up doing sort of like a classic Agrax Earthshade to keep in these earthy green tones I want to use on him for the dead flesh effect. Yeah, I agree, RJ. This is the sculpt itself is so incredible. After I just did the base shading and everything, I'm like, you can almost call it done here if you wanted to, and that would be, talk about a nice, quick and easy paint. but I wanted to go back in, obviously, and do some more with it. Just because, you know, it's a cool mini. Yeah, we're gonna get that side. So this is definitely one of my favorite ones from the Kickstarter for sure. Music sounds good? Oh, good. I was like, oh, this is kind of like undead, spooky, and I also worked off how they had their lore videos, music. It's like, you know what? I have those lovely Halloween playlists still going. Let's pull them out. But now you can see how those protrusions are coming out. And, it, you know, they look a little bit more pure right now, but once that Agrax goes on top of it, it'll get that nice aged bone look, which is what I want. Yes, Crippled God Foundry is in Greece. Who can figure out what Crippled God Foundry is in reference to? This is the teacher in me coming out. This was the other thing that I loved about working with them because of our connections name-wise for our channels. Who is the Crippled God? Pop quiz. Bet you didn't know you had one today. Yeah, here's... God, he's so cool! Just so cool. I am doing my best to keep it in shot for the angles. They're just sometimes I need to pull it back in so I can reach and see at the same time. But I'll give you a little spin once I'm done. This is kind of like the... This is sort of like a little disconcerting. Let me go through your mouth to paint the back of your head, sir. You can see there. There we go, Brad. Yep, Brad got it. Hephaestus. Ta-da! No, Prometheus was a Titan. And here we go, the protrusions. I don't think I'm going to do the ones this color on the front. I have a different color I'll probably put for those, just because I have a feeling with this being the bone white, if this goes bone white, it's going to look a little overly toothy. So I'm going to call it with the bone white. I got the back pieces like I wanted. I've gotten the eyes, and now I'm going to move on to getting basically the majority of the head painted up. I'll leave that going. Hey, it's okay, not to worry. Again, learning experiences. Let's see, I'm going to shift over to... Sorry about that, just bumped the mic. This is a new brush I got from Plaid, but I really like because of the... Or is this a Plaid one? No, this is not Plaid. Take it back. This is... What is this one? Royal Langnickel. Kid you not, that's the brand. Royal Langnickel. This is... Oh, these are the brushes my kids got me for Mother's Day. Ta-da! I like them because it's just a nice long handle, and this little chisel tip you can even see here, I found it comes in really handy when I want to like quickly remove some paint. But I like this particular brush because it's got that great flat base top to it, which I need because now I'm going to go in and I'm going to paint this one up. And again, because I want them to look gross and sickly, I'm going to be using Camouflage Green from the Vallejo Game Colour line. Oh, I like how we're having... Hephaestus was the blacksmith of the gods. He is the son of Zeus and Hera. Prometheus was the Titan who gave fire to the humans, much to the consternation of the others, and as a result was punished and lashed to a mountain, where his liver and innards were constantly torn out on a daily basis, and he would heal it. I mean, I kind of like Grecian lore, can you tell? All right, same thing. I am taking the Camouflage Green and I am thinning this paint out. That's what you're hearing on the sides. See? Mix and stir, mix and stir. I kind of like to get this to the, well, not kind of, but I get this to the consistency of quality cream, like nice heavy cream. And now I'm going to start applying this to the entirety, basically, that's exposed. Then what I'm going to do is go back in. I'm going to add in the sort of blood and gore details to the stumps after I get this color on. But again, I want this to be thin, almost watery, because I want the shading work I've done for the base layers to work with me and not get hidden. Otherwise there is no point in doing all that, but this is why I like this brush, because it's good about getting in there nice and thin. I've definitely steered into kind of sort of a Frankenstein monster-esque, and I don't mean, you know, Herman Munster green face guy. If you read Frankenstein, dude's got yellow skin. So I am definitely steering into that one for inspiration for color selection here right now. And I'm just getting this camo everywhere. I'm not going to put it inside. This is all going to get a different color on the inside. So right now I'm just going to kind of jog it along the jaw, but try and keep a nice line for where I'm going to add the other color in. But you can see how having the thinned out paint, it's actually a little tricky to see when the paint is fully wet because you get that glare. Once this dries, you'll see how the base colors play through and work with you. Yeah, I basically was obsessed with Greek mythology as a kid, and then I got to teach it, so I remember a good chunk of it. That is for sure. Greek mythology is fun. Then the real trick is being able to flip over from the Grecian names to the Roman names. So again, it's just this camouflage green. That's the interesting thing when you have a whole bunch of detail work and then you're like, oh wait, I'm just going to take this one color and just jog all around. Okay. I don't know. I may have to work a Death Watcher into BB somehow. You can recommend the book. That's totally fine. I am all for book recommendations. You just won't be able to put the link in. I don't allow links in my chat for reasons that have cropped up in the past. But if you want to put the title and the author, by all means, which, let's see, you have Vulcan made my shield. Is that the... No, that's a different person. That was Achille. White cheddar? I swear I've seen that van already. That sounds awfully familiar. But yeah, I know what you mean. That would be pretty... That would be cool looking. Agreed. Alright, so that's really all I'm going to do with the back job because I want to get this other... Actually, no, I lied. I lied to you. I'm going to do just a little bit. Now, when this guy comes to you, you will have to attach the pole, the clear acrylic pole here, which is very easy. That's just take your hand drill, bore the right size hole. I went through, obviously, I went through the top of the roof of the mouth because I thought it'd be kind of cool to have them hover without like it being too terribly obvious. And then just super glue one end, super glue the other, and ta-da! Stephen Fry's Mythos. Ooh. Very cool. I will have to look into that one. Thank you. So if anyone's looking for a good book on Grecian myths, we just got a recommendation in the chat. All right, let's see. Has this dried enough? Oh, yeah. Okay, we're starting to dry. So you can see here how you're getting the... Just noticing there's... Oh, there might be a mar on the camera. You're getting the colors, again, playing through. So you have your shadows and your light tones, which makes this for one nice a coat of this color as opposed to going through and doing various layers. So I'm just going to keep going around with this. Let me turn them upside down. And what I'm planning to do, like where those boils are, is kind of putting in almost like a putrid yellow color to make it look like, you know, festering. Because that's a word you want to hear. Festering. This is also why I like this brush. It's good for getting up to the edge, but not bleeding over. I thought it has me not having to flip around as much. Challenge here is doing the gum line and the eyelid line without going too crazy on you. There we go. Gosh, those fangs. Yeah, this would absolutely be a nope, 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 nope if this got put on the table and I was a player. Nope, thanks, I'm good, bye. I will nopity nope it on out there. Although, I did fight a beholder in one of the Jasper's Game Week games, a Sunday night game. Jake had us fight a beholder. And we lived to tell the tale at level 4. Holy crow! Hello, DM Insomnia. Just so you jump in there. All right, let me get around the eye. Oh, God, I love these details. That's the fun thing, just playing around with the colors. Or he's like, well, yeah, I could make them go like super flesh, like human flesh tone modes, but I thought the sickly yellow would be appropriate for this kind of monster. He's a monster. And again, if you have any further questions. No, because of all these little details, I want to make sure I have control of the paint stuff. If you want to go through with a larger brush, by all means, go for it. But there are a lot of little grooves and divots that I find the bigger the brush, the more you're going to miss them. Or you're going to have the paint pooling on you because you have a wider brush and work on it. Bigger is not always better. Have you seen that video where it's like someone takes... it's like a massive like paintbrush for like painting your walls paintbrush. And they start painting a menu with it. It's a complete and utter joke, but it was absolutely hysterical. They basically just slapped the paint on top and globbed it on, and it was a riot. I was cracking up when I saw the video. But again, because this guy has so many awesome crevices and whatnot, I don't want to go super big brush and have the paint not distribute the way I need it and want it to. That's my 2 cents on it. But hey, you can always go over to the Kickstarter and order one for yourself and paint it as you'd like. I had to. That was too perfect. That was too perfect of an opportunity to play around with that. I'm actually going to get the skull area first, and then I'll work my way up the stalks individually. This guy's sitting close to the head, so I think by default I will get him. And just very carefully work that around the eyelid. Same thing here. I'm just going to very carefully work around the eye. I don't want this to get on our eyeball. Okay. Let's get to the back of the head. Yeah, if guys from Crippled God, if you want to talk about your stretch goals and stuff, by all means, take the opportunity to do that in the chat. Last I checked, last I was told, 16 have been unlocked. Also, when I last checked, it was almost 500 backers, but considering we've had some positive reactions in the chat, I think you now have over 500 backers, which is awesome. That is ridiculously cool. And congratulations, seriously. Yeah, I definitely want him to be gross looking. And I actually went to that passage from Frankenstein where the monster is described, and he's described as having this sickly yellow skin, stringy black hair, and just, it's a beautiful description. I highly recommend the book itself entirely, but, you know, hey. I think I just named the mini. He'll be Frankie! Again, for those of you who are new, I like to name my minis. Goofy, ironic names. So this guy's going to be Frankie. For sure. This is going to be the fun part, getting in between all the horns. What color would I choose for eyes? I've already done the eyes. The eyes are going to be sort of like a milky blind eye. So I've put bone white onto the eyes, and then I'm going to do a paint effect to give it sort of a glowing look too. And that will come once I get all the colors on, essentially. I'll go back and play with eyes a little bit more. But again, this brush, because of its nice flat aspect, normally where I would have to gone back in with a fine tip, if I turn it so it's narrow end in, I can very easily reach what I need to. Which that in and of itself helps save me some time when I'm painting my minis. So yeah, the kids did a good job picking out a brush set for me. I think they got it at Walmart, honestly. I'm almost done with this little maze. Man. This really is a superior sculpt design. We're almost there. Almost there for this section. And I'll go back to doing the eye stalks, get those finished up. Oop, out of frame, sorry about that. That one I definitely need to pull in closer so I could see a wee bit better. Just a little bit more paint. 501 backers, that's fantastic. That really is wonderful. Most excellent, gentlemen. Congratulations on that milestone. Okay, that gets the skull done. You can see, look at this, look at this. And I don't like zombie things. That's why I'm cracking up. It's like I'm getting a little bit more into this than I thought I would and enjoying it. But when you get details like this, holy moly. I'm starting to slouch. I need to sit up, keep myself in frame. Good posture, people. Channel is about to hit its milestone too. I think we're less than 300 now before the channel hits 10K, which is pretty cool. And when that happens, I'll activate the giveaway I have planned. I've been having fun doing the reveal videos so you guys can all see what's getting included in this special package for one lucky winner. And Crippled God is involved. They have they had sent me they sent me 2 sets of the Guild Masters. So I'm putting one of my second set in. So yeah, that's a thing. Ooh, the music got super creepy. Okay, that's 1 eye stalk. 5 more to go. Not too shabby. This is really what's going to take the most time to do. Let's see here. Yeah, if you have any questions, ask away. The other thing I have hot on my heels now, I'm realizing, is the castle's going to be happening soon. I think I can officially say now I'm pretty much done with terrain. It's just a matter of gluing a couple things down, and I'm waiting for the supplies to come for that, and then I'll be set with my terrain bits, and then it's just literally getting minis pulled together in terms of the baddies and the minions, and a few more NPCs are left that I need to do. And since people are asking about it, I definitely am going to do sort of a tour of BBs, and you can see all the stuff I made and pulled together for the game. Which, if you do Call of Cthulhu and that type of thing, because the game itself that I created, it takes place in the 1920s. So a lot of what I've made up is geared towards that look. So if you're struggling to find terrain and minis and things like that, you can see what I've done to help give you some ideas. Because believe it or not, it's tricky. There's modern, there's like post-apocalyptic, and then you have your classic fantasy / medieval look. But trying to find something more in that 1920s to even 40s, we'll say, because I want to say the 50s, you start kind of getting into the more modern look of things. It's been tricky trying to find stuff that'll work, which is why I've actually ended up making a lot of things. And I've had some friends who do 3D printing who've been a huge help. There is going to be a piano getting painted, by the way, people. Miguel Zavala helped me out with the piano mini. And he also turned it into a mimic. So if you need a fun mimic, he's got a mimic grand piano now as a result. Get the underside of this particular eye stalk. There. All right, 3 to go. 3 down, 3 to go. And this was a busy week of gameplay. I've actually played, it's only Wednesday, and I ended up playing 4 games already. But I'm done. I'm done for the week unless, I need to jump in and help as a sub tomorrow night because Jasper's Game Week going on Mini Terrain Domain. Got to play a game on Sunday with Jake running it. It was so much fun. We were in Waterdeep and we fought a beholder in the long run. And then I had my usual Monday night game, Doors of Dunera, which is the cipher system. I'm loving it. That is so much fun. And then Tuesday was Nightborn, which is Numenera. And then I had this was a cool game. I want to talk about this game. Then I had a game last night with Nerdarchist Dave. So now I had both the Nerdarchist guys DM me, which is so cool. But Dave had this concept. He sent us a description of, what we need to do for character prep. And he's like, basically, it's a Viking culture, and you're dead already. And you need to come up with a heroic death. But keep in mind that for some reason, your PC has not been allowed into Valhalla. So I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. So basically, the way he worked it is that with the game, our PCs, we all sort of ended up in this one zone of in-between, like sort of limbo. And we had to go through three trials to see if we were worthy to enter the gates of Valhalla. And the situations were very interesting. The way he set up the trials, it was really cool to see that it wasn't always, pull the blade and start swinging type of tests. So I really thoroughly enjoyed that approach. It's something where I'm like, I might yoink that concept and do that as a fun game with the kids. Because I could really see my kids getting into creating a super duper epic hero. But then they have to sort of go through the process of proving themselves absolutely worthy for Valhalla. But yeah, I really enjoyed what he did with it and how it all played out. It was just a neat take on a different way to present a game. Although my PC went down And I had to do a death saving throw. And I'm like, so death saving throw in the afterlife. This is interesting. But essentially the reason why she went down and what she was doing at that point was part of why the gates of Valhalla opened and allowed us in. So that was pretty cool. That was actually quite memorable. If you want to go to Jake's channel, Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch, you can catch a video on demand, I believe. Hello, Mike Hawkins. How are you? Thanks for joining us today as I paint up this lovely, gory, gross Death Watcher. But yeah, for the DMs out there, if you want a cool game concept, that was actually a really cool and enjoyable one as a player. It was refreshing. It wasn't like your typical, you meet in the tavern. So I was happy about that. Ooh, itched my nose, dropped the brush. And I will definitely make sure there is a... No, this is a Death Watcher. For reasons. And this is one of the guys, for those of you who have joined us after a little bit of time, this is a fellow that you can get with Crippled Foundry's Kickstarter that they have going on right now, The Curse of Hollow Hills, which the minis are thumbs up, beautiful. And yes, I'm calling undead creatures beautiful. Go buy your lottery tickets. Today's the day. I said something I never thought I'd say. All right, that's the last one. So I think we're done with the camo green over that shading and highlighting that I did, and it definitely has. Oh, the creepy, droopy flesh look I was hoping for. All right, very cool. Now we're going to have fun in doing some of the detail work here that I want to have going on. So, let me rinse my brush. The base I actually had already painted, and it's just been sitting there looking for a friend. And I think these two are quite well matched with each other. Yeah, I definitely like having on the dungeon thing. Yeah. What's the most interesting game setting you've played in? Not so's asking me. Oh, okay. I absolutely loved playing. It's a skin for D&D 5e. It's called Dark Matter from Mage Hand Press. It's basically take all of your classic sci-fi movies and shows. It's a little bit of Star Wars, it's a little bit of Star Trek, it's a little bit of, you know, oh, what's the one where it's like Cecily Robinson but out in space? I'm blanking on that name. But it's really a cool space setting, and they have different races and they have different classes, and it was absolutely fascinating to play, and I really enjoyed that one. So, yeah, I'm happy with that camo green. All right, this guy is going to go back to live in the paintbrush stand. And let me see here. I do want to switch over to... Where'd it go? Where'd it go? This is one of those Mod Podge brushes I was telling you about that Plaid had sent to me. It's so bright and shiny, though. I don't know if it's going to pick that up. This is their 10/0. It's called Spotter 25140. And it's from their Mod Podge. It's actually Mod Podge is the name of the paintbrush brand. So it has the hot pink handles and bright orange handles. I just knocked my microphone screen. Sorry, guys. All right, so switching down to this one because it's smaller, finer tip. Lost in Space. Thank you, Jason, because... Oh, and Mike, because that was like... Which I watched both the original TV and then the one that they've done on Netflix recently. Don't know what happened with that one. It just flew right out of my head. All right, so I want this to get icky, gross, and gory. So what I am going to do is... I grabbed a few colors because I want to play around with this. All right, I am going to start with Scarlet Red. All right, so what I'm going to do is start with Scarlet Red and put that more towards the center of these openings. See that cat hair float by? So I'm going to have the Scarlet Red go in closer to these openings here. And then I'm going to graduate the colors out to sort of darken so it looks like that decayed, rotting flesh color. And then around the top area portion, I'm going to take it just a slightly darker color to the Caymen green. Again, to kind of give it this grody, disgusting thing. And in this case, I'm going to actually just make sure my brush isn't too far loaded. because this one tends to run a little bit thin on its own, so I don't really need to thin out the Scarlet red from the Vallejo line. So literally just going to put this in here. It's almost like just pointillism. I just put little dots of things in there. Mustard monster. No, his name's Frankie. This is Frankie. Because, you know, like Frankenstein. It's monster. So what I'm focusing on is like the deepest recess of each of these to get that going. And I'm really only doing just a little bit. And I'm going to let it dry. And I'll jump over to the next color up that I want to put in there. But I want to make sure that, because this is it's an intense red, I don't want it to bleed through and kind of mute out the other colors. So in this case, normally I try and wet blend it. What I'm going to do is let this dry and then I'll feather the next color in. So those guys are going to dry for now. And then I do need to get the puffed up blisters, boils addressed as well. So I think I'm going to do that while that's getting taken care of. And I'm going to shift over to dead flesh. Huh, go figure. So I'm going to use dead flesh, and what I'm going to do is just dot that onto the surface areas that look like that. So we're going to do that while the Scarlet red dries. Yoink. Let's see here. Actually, I'm going to rinse my paintbrush a little bit more because I don't have all the red off. Frankly, the fetid floater. Okay, you know you're a mom of boys when you're thinking like that. That sounds like something else entirely. Frankie, the freakly you guys crack me up. I love it. I love the different names. Frankie, the mustard monster. Oh, gosh. Frankie, you're going down in history with some really interesting names. So I'm literally taking dead flesh, and I am just dotting the tops of this. I'm not looking to cover the entire surface. I want that effect of the darker camo green working its way up to the dead flesh. This is where the names crack me up. So I'm just going to go through and dot what I can and see and catch. Just to get this oogie boogie. There, you can see it just brings it up a level, which is what I want to have happens. I want to have happens that. And of course, if you have any questions for me while I'm painting in terms of why are you doing this, what's going on here, could you explain that more? I am more than happy to do that, especially for the newer viewers who are joining us, which hello to everyone new. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is very good to see you here. Oh my god, he's so creepy! Frankie Forsythe! Oh, that's fun. That was a good one, not so. That was a very good one. I like that a lot. I have a feeling Frankie would kind of have, like, you know, that tough guy voice. How you doing? I'm Frankie Forsythe. Oh no, you've given me an idea. You've given me an idea. This could be trouble. Am I in frame? I am in frame. I always have to remember, like, this little bitty detail work to check that I'm in frame. I have a bad habit of pulling in super close. Dot the boils. I find it amazing how just lifting up a similar tone color up by like 2 shades. But yeah, that's definitely getting a look that I wanted. He's so greasy. Name that movie. Or comedian. I'll accept both. Because I do believe he used it outside of the movie too. Right now I'm essentially just looking to find more little blisters to... Oh, that would not have been a good choice of words. Gotta find more blisters to pop. Whoops. Not what I mean. You get what I meant, right? That sounds absolutely vile. So yep, just going around and oh, this is going to be a fun one. Oh, that's really going to look cool. Yes! Very much a Joe Pesci type. Agreed. And he's got that voice. Are those? Sure those are. Yep. Sorry, I'm out of frame. I just realized when turning. Oh my god, it's so grody and wonderfully grody. Congratulations, Crippled God. You've actually sculpted things where I'm not so grossed out. I'm actually excited about undead factor. I still don't think I'll be quite ready to watch zombies. We all have our opinions about Game of Thrones. No spoilers. I promise you no spoilers. Chat, behave. But yeah, I did not do well with certain creatures from Game of Thrones. There was an episode where I think I watched my palms more than I watched the show itself. Which my husband, he's good about that. He knows when I'll get grossed out. He'll be like, okay, it's still happening, still happening, still happening. Yeah, you're good now. You can look now. Yet give me an incredible psychological thriller and I am there for it. Hey, Bill, how you doing, bud? Thanks for joining us. Bill Allen has joined us, everyone. Bill has a YouTube channel too. You can check that one out later if you want. He does some crafting stuff as well. He actually has a great series of D&D with high school students that I highly recommend. I encourage you to check out, quite frankly. Hold on. Hold on, I got a little... Dang it, her fur's getting everywhere. Little kitten hair. It's probably one that floated by the screen earlier. Yes, I am loving this. Oh, I am so loving this. I'm also spinning him around and around. Nope, there's more. Frankie's got more. Frankie's not saying relax yet. I still have to get the other boils. Now I have that song in my head. Oh, I totally just did that to myself. Well, hi, high school kids. How you doing? Actually, I'm going to rinse my brush because it's starting to get a little bit more paint on it than I want. Yeah, I love this combination of the two colors of the green camo and the dead flesh, which I'm putting on top of the boys. I actually need more. I need more dead flesh, please. Not literally a bottle's worth. I just need more on my plate. Wait. Wait a minute. Oh, boy. With these names, you're pretty much walking into things being completely misconstrued if someone were to hear you out of context. I need more dead flesh on my plate, please. Oh, we're playing the Where in the World game. Where's everybody from? Are those? Yeah, we got a couple here, too. I'm trying to get all the eye stalks first, and then I know we have, like, the mother load right there. So we'll get to them. We absolutely will get to them. I'm also just sort of... I'm looking for boils. I think, therefore, I am's. I am's what I am's. Nope, missed. A couple more over here. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, don't ask, I just... Sometimes I'll just be in the mood where different songs... I got those, yep. Yep. Alright, we're going to the big ones. We're going to the big ones now. The big boils. Here we go. This is gonna look so crazy grody. I love it. Look at that. This is fun. And I just got quiet because I'm concentrating. Oh, boy. I'm also deciding how far I want to take this and where I'm going to let it sort of be under the surface or coming to the surface. The figure is amazing. I mean, you know, it's helping make things look good as well. I'm definitely going to make sure that I get some good photos so everyone can check it out. What I'm going to do is I am taking photos so that Crippled God Foundry can have this mini painted up, have it as a reference photo, and then I will on my Facebook page as well as on, hold on kitten, as well as on Twitter and elsewhere, Instagram, Discord. I'm trying to think of the other places where I can put photos. Oh, the YouTube community channel. I'll get a photo up of this guy. The one thing I don't like about the community tab here is I can only do one picture at a time. So I'm going to obviously take a whole bunch of different angles of this guy. So if you want more angles and stuff, check out the other social media. He's got big boils, he cannot lie. Very much so, Cheddar. Hello, Julio. It's been a while. Oh, I'm so glad I just caught that chat go. Yay! That's wonderful. Good to see you. It's like a party over here. I think we have achieved hitting all the boils. Yay! Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the decaying stumps. The big zombie ogre. Yeah! Oh god, that one's cool looking too. I'm trying to think. I think it might be in the down below. Right through here. As it's cycling through. I think the big dude's in there. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm going to the stumps. That's what I was like, what am I doing again? So for that, I'm going to jump up to Gory. Gory red. A little bit of the gory red, which is red. Just to kind of play around with that one. And basically what I'm doing is aiming it slightly higher than where I placed the Scarlet red. Because the Scarlet red has more of a bluish undertone. Gory's taking you more into a true red. So it can kind of work with warm and with blues. Or cools. Cool tones, I should say. Frankie gives him the credit. I love that you guys are having fun with the name. And I love that the name is completely unintentional until I realize, wait a minute, I'm basing this off of Frankenstein's monster. Hey, Frankie! Alright, this is going to be an interesting achievement unlocked for me. Because the way I want to hold him to paint this area is awkward to keep in frame. Now what I'm not really doing is I'm not having it so the blood comes out and over. That's not what I want to have happen here. I've got to remember to clean my camera. I can see there's a smudge right through here, which I will fix later rather than put you through the motion sickness of cleaning the camera. It's good to see you too, Julio. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. All right. Speedy recovery to you then, sir. Truly. I hope you're feeling better soon. It's tough when you're out for the count. All right, same thing. Taking the gory red. But yeah, because this is sort of an undead critter, I don't want to have it where it's like, you know, just oozing, glopping blood out. I'm treating it more as like, you know, as it rots away, you sort of get the new exposed bits that look bloodied, but then go into like this dark and decayed look. So we've got that going. Yeah, he's so yucky. He's beautifully yucky. How are we doing on time? 1:19. Okay, we're plugging along nicely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then what I'm going to do is probably let that dry a little bit more. Well, I let this color, because again, I don't want the colors going everywhere on me with the reds. Because once red goes astray, forget it. Trying to pull that back in, always fun. I think what I'll do now is I'm going to get into here. Basically, I'm just going to give this a quick color layer in the back of the head. And I'm going to go use... What did I want to do for this one? Was it charred brown? I ask you who have no idea because this was all in my head. And I haven't said anything out loud. What was I think it was going to be a start off with a charred brown and then work it up to scarlet red maybe? Yeah, I think that was the plan. Alright, so I'm going to pull out charred brown. Again, this is all game line from Vallejo. We'll start with the charred brown, and this is where it's going to get fun because of the... This was the double-edged sword. I was debating putting the post in, but then I realized I'd be handling it a lot, and I didn't want to do that. So, there's my brush. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to have to work around the post and do what I can do. So I'm taking charred brown, and I'm moving it to the inside. of the jaw area. So it kind of meets up with the camo green. And I'm not taking it all the way through, which is really hard to show here. This is where I should get like little handheld flashlights I can show you when it gets darkened up. Basically, I'm kind of putting it halfway through the jaw because then I'll jump into the blood, not the blood red, the scarlet red, to pull that through. So I'm going to do a little bit of blending in just a minute between the charred brown and the scarlet red. But basically putting the, I'm going to use my own head, charred here and then graduate it up to the scarlet above it. But this is going to be fun angle time. May even be, I'm just going to pull things out of the screen for a little bit if needed. We shall see. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of colors to add on to the description today, but worth it! Yeah, that's another option you can do if you want to make it look like your critters are flying. Crippled Foundry was sweet enough to include this one for me, so I had a nice clear post to work off of. Alright, so I put the charred brown. Yeah, you can kind of see as I turn it. It's just... Can I get an angle of light here to work with me, please? You can kind of see it there, where the glossy shine is. So I'm also going to do it up here, but as we have learned, up here is no man's land for view. So let me get that portion taken care of. Can I get it that way? Oh, maybe I can do this. Yes, I think... If you see it, then I can't see it. If I see it, then you can't see it. It'll take me longer to do it so you can see it, so I win. And again, this is one of those things where I'm just being picky, because if someone's picking up your mini and looking at it like, hey, let me look at the underside. So I'm getting that charred brown in on the back area, so that we have the scarlet red fading into it. Which I think that should probably show up a little bit more. There, you can see what I'm doing there. Everything comes unpainted, yep. And then you you will need to prime it. And I've used the black Vallejo primer. Frankie will look for us. Frankie could look into his own mouth, couldn't he? How are your tonsils, Frankie? Take a look back there. Let's see. All right, I'm jumping over back to Scarlet Red now, which I still have on my plate, so don't need to worry about adding more. And I'm putting it into where I just had that charred brown going and pulling the colors into each other, working while both are still damp. Which is not easy to do with this angle. Sorry, folks. There you go. You can see what's going on, or start to see what's going on at least. Yeah, then you get that nice little pop of red on the inside. So you can see what I'm doing after I move the brush at least. Oh, Jedi Jim, welcome to my world. Good to see you, by the way. Yeah, we have division of labor happening with our bones for now. There's some that I've pulled that I definitely want to paint up, and then Mr. Muse is also... He started getting into mini painting, which is awesome, so he's got a few he wants to paint up. So, you know, hopefully 4 hands make for lighter work. We shall see. I'm pulling it out of frame. I cannot reach without pulling it out of frame and getting it close to me because I cannot get to that angle easily otherwise. But it's still the Scarlet Red getting painted in around the inside of the gaping maw. Which sometimes I hear that phrase and I picture a lady in her pink curlers and her robe and slippers. You know, the stereotypical haggard mother type with her mouth agape, the gaping maw. I have weird associations with words sometimes. Okay, so that just helped me get all the way through there. And then I'm going to actually take it back. That was a kit. I'm actually not rinsing my paintbrush. I am taking it over to the charred brown now. And I'm going to get the inside of the mouth with that. And hopefully I can get... Can I get this in frame? Great to paint, awkward to do for the stream. Sorry. So sorry. I'm trying, but it is a little... This is sort of the no man's land of views. Here, so there you can see right there. It's blending the two back out to the darker tone that I wanted. But by purposely not rinsing my brush, it's kind of also pre-blending the colors for me. Which is why I'm doing that. And then I'm going to go through the back of the head. Yeah, again, the angle's going to be weird, so I'm actually going to just pull this back for the sake of time. Okay. Frankie says he's had his dental work done. Yoink. So you can kind of see that in through there. And then I'm just going to go around the bottom jaw now with the Scarlet Red. Hopefully I can do this so you guys can see. Just wanted to give it that touch of red along the jawline. Ooh, we got active all of a sudden. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, honestly not so. I think a lot of it is just finding a brush style that works for you, because there's actually a cheap bunch of brushes at Walmart that I will flock to in a heartbeat. Ooh, that's an angle I can reach, but of course you can't see. Play around with different brands, play around with different styles. You may find one works far better for you than you realized without having to spend a fortune. Alright. This is getting a little tricky now. Trying to get a little bit of the back here without it getting too carried away, which is really hard to show you guys right now. So, let me finish this up, pulling it out of frame just so I could finish it. And then we'll move on. Because these are some twists and turns. Like I said, I debated doing this on the post, but what I didn't want to do is overhandle it by not having it on any support whatsoever. We're almost there. Almost there, I know. I'm sorry. Alright, so now it's got its red lining in there. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to go back to the stumps. Man! Talk about dental work. Alright, getting that rinsed off really well, because again, reds and mixing with other colors. Fun! Not really. So now I'm going to address the edge of the stumps here. And I'm actually going to jump over to Caymen green and just sort of edge the Caymen green around so it's like that darker, oxidizing, rotting flesh factor. And I don't need a lot because it's not really a lot of area to cover. So jumping into Caymen green and just putting a little bit up through here, which I gotta get my hand position just right. So I'm going to in frame. Always the question of the day, am I in frame? I'm taking this not at the top of the stump. It's actually running along the inside of the opening instead. Because I still want that highlight at the top to come through, but I want that darker green to play up against the reds. Through here. So you get that darkening that's happening, which is what I wanted to have. Thank you very much, Ella. Oh, I had it before last week. Eleftheria? Is that it? Did I get that? I really do try their names. I try so hard not to butcher them. And if I am butchering them, you need to let me know. Or if you prefer to be called something else than your screen name, let me know too. That may take a little bit longer to lock and load into my brain. There you can see that helps keep it sort of a deepened crater look, which is what I wanted. All right, so we're almost done here. Get that last stump. And again, going in with the Caymen green on the inside, not the highest point of the stump exposed, but right along the inside here. There we go. So that's its rotted stumpiness. And now I'm going to go back to the eyes, because that's pretty much getting us close to done. All right, let me rinse this off. Now this is the only color that is not going to be from Vallejo. This is a color you can do, well, you'll see what it looks like. It's a metallic, and it's a pearl metallic, which is why I'm using it. This is from Folk Art's Brush Metal line, and it is their brushed pearl gold. And the reason why I like this is because, let me get out of the blurred area, it has it so that it's not a true gold, and it's also not a true white. I didn't want it to be one or the other. Hold on. You can see. It's just this really pretty yellowish light cream, which is what I want for these eyes, because like I said, the milky blind eye look is what I'm going for. So I'm going to use this on top. So if it's a matter of you can't find this particular color, what you want to look for is a pearlized paint or a metallic paint that falls into a pale cream tone with golden undertones to it, is the best way to describe it. And then a brush. I need a different brush. All right, I'm going to, do I want that one? I'm debating. See, I keep doing that. All right, I'm going to use this one again. Remember him? Same one I used for when I was putting on the camo green from before. And I am going to test its opacity. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I want it, so it's still sheer. Like you can see, it's not obliterating my skin tone. It's getting that gloss shimmer to it, which is what I want. All right, here we go. Worst case scenario, I just repaint the eye. But I want it to have like that glowing, eerie, iridescent, creepy factor going on. Because it's like when you're at, like they show in the horror movies where it's the eyes are like the first thing they see of the creature, and it's just this glowing, unnerving glow that you see coming out of the darkness. No, I haven't given this any thought. Not any whatsoever. That's kind of the feel I want these eyes to have. And I'm putting it on the entire eye. So it starts getting that shimmer, for lack of a better word. That glossy look. Just keep carrying it around. Ta-da! Yeah, the minis, Julio, you missed the beginning. Go back and catch the VOD, and there's a nice little opening video that cycles through everything, so you can see the collection, at least what I had access to. Okay, so that's the main eye done, and that's exactly what I wanted it to. Look at that. I'm so creepy! He's so creepy, I love him. Aw, Frankie. But that's the look I wanted for these eyes. I wanted to have that creepy, otherworldly look to them. I am going to switch brushes now because these are smaller eyes. I need a smaller brush. But for the big one, there you go. Oh, you're hopping between Gemini. This is called the gold. No, Brush Pearl Gold from Folk Art. I have the lid off, so I don't want to show it and dump paint everywhere. That would be bad. Isn't that cool? Just changing it up with a different effect paint. Now, again, I don't have a color from Vallejo that was going to do what I needed to do for this effect, which is why I jumped over to folk art. But I knew this was going to give me those really creepy, milky pearl-like eyes, which is why I did the layering of colors like I did with the non-metallics up to the point of using the metallic now. So I'm going to get this on the eyes. And then I won't do it live because I do want to make sure these paints are dry, especially with the metallic. If you do a wash before metallics are dry, it will pull the fine glittery bits that help make it metallic into the rest of your paints, and then you're just going to have a sparkly creature. So I really want to make sure these paints are dry before I do any type of wash whatsoever. But yeah, it's giving me the milky eye look that I wanted for sure, and I am thrilled. And what I'll do when it comes to finishing these up, that's what I get for trying to do two things with the same hand. I will go back in with the gloss varnish from Vallejo and put it into where I'm putting the eye bits in. And then I might actually do a satin on the head. No, I'm going to do a matte. He's not exactly slimy and greasy looking. So I don't want to make him shiny. There we go. That's another one. Just working my way across the eye stalks. So yes, please be sure that you jump over to Crippled God Foundry's Kickstarter that they have going on right now, The Curse of Hollow Hills. The miniatures they have created for this are some of the most stunning undead ones that I have seen in my experience, and from, the different ones that I've seen in social media and whatnot. So if you like creepy undead minis and you want quality workmanship and you want minis that have great details like hello, do go check them out. You have 10 days left. All right, 10 days to achieve sponsoring them and jumping into the Kickstarter. Hold on, I have another eye to go. Ooh. I may have to go back in a little bit with the camo green. I had a couple little hiccups because my hand's getting tired too. That doesn't help. All right, so God, it's this is the thing. It is showing up on the webcam, which I'm thrilled about, but it's not getting near close to what it looks like in real life. I think I may actually do a video with this as well, so you can see the shimmer and the shift. But this is Frankie, folks. Outside of, I'm going to do an Agrax, I believe. I might play. If not Agrax, then I might do Sepia, Seraphim Sepia from Citadel as a wash. I'm going to play with that. I am actually not going to wash the eyes. I am going to avoid the eyes. I don't want to have that color affected in any way, shape, or form. The only bits that are getting washed will be the teeth, will be the horns, will be the fleshy area itself. And then I will take his glamour post, his glamour shots, and you'll get to see Frankie at his finest, ready to get out there in the world and scare the bejesus out of PCs. But here's Frankie, everybody. Yeah. Guys, you knocked it out of the ballpark with this one. This is a gorgeous sculpt. I definitely will do a video angle shot of him because it's amazing. The details, I'm loving every little bit of it. So that is that. I'm quite happy with Frankie. And again, he'll have his pictures done and hopefully up by tomorrow, and you can enjoy. And I hope that this is something where you have now come across a fantastic company for minis. Check them out also on their website. Check them out on Kickstarter. you won't be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. I stand behind that statement completely. So thank you, all the guys from Crippled Foundry. Thank you for being in the chat and answering all the questions. I'm actually gonna let me hold them here while I close up. Thank you for answering everyone's questions, letting them know certain situations, how things work out, and so on and so forth. I really do appreciate your being here. I appreciate you reaching out to me and asking if I would do this for you. More than happy to. Thank you to everyone who has been in the chat for this long. You guys are fantastic, wonderful, amazing. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you end up getting these Kickstarter minis, you know, feel free to come back and watch this. This will be a video on demand on my channel, so you can go back and recreate it. Again, remember, I'll have all these paints listed in my description, so you can recreate this look as well. And if you have any questions, you feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer anything I can as well on my end, from painting and everything like that. So that was a lot of wording for me. Have a great day, everyone. I will be doing another live stream next week. Might be a piano, might be something else. We'll get it. I don't know why I keep lapsing into this voice. we'll figure it out later. It's been a crazy week for me. So once I figure out what the mini is going to be, I will follow up and let you know what next week's mini is going to be. But for now, take care. Have a wonderful, restful weekend if you can. If you are going to the D&D live event, please have fun. Please be safe. And yeah, I think that's it for me for today. It's been an absolute blast talking with you all. So take care, everyone. And I will see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.